Welcome once again to Channel 18, and as you can see, our guest today is Barbara Ann Foley, Director of the Council on Aging, and Barbara Ann has some safety things she wants to tell us about, and then I think she's going to talk about the Veterans Coffee. So Barbara Ann, why don't you take over?
So on April 6th, we have had so many things rescheduled, Paul, because of the snow. And I didn't think in March at the end of this month we would still be talking about snow, but we are. I had to reschedule the Safety Day Fair, not once but twice. And it is now going to be on April 6th, which is a Monday, 9:30 to 11:30. And I would really urge you to go. It's a free event. There will be coffee and some goodies on each of the tables. And we've talked about this before. The way that it's going to work is the speakers that are coming, instead of being in front of the room and kind of preaching, I hate that word, but talking to people at a distance, they'll be at the round tables, and then we'll ring a little bell and the speaker will move to the next table. So the seniors, those of you that attend, don't have to move at all. You stay put, have your coffee and your goodies, and every 7 to 10 minutes you will be having a different person come and talk to you. The advantage of that is not only you can hear really well, but some people have different questions than maybe a general audience have, and there may be something specific that you sitting there think of that you want to ask, and you're thinking, I don't think anybody else would have that question. But when you're in that kind of a small, intimate setting, you can get your questions answered. So we do have some very interesting people that are going to be coming, from the Red Cross to our own police and fire departments. We've got a nurse practitioner and our own town nurse, the nurse practitioners from Brewster Medical, that are going to be talking about medication safety and interaction problems that sometimes people have. The folks from Hope Health Dementia will be talking about safety for Alzheimer's and dementia patients. We have some people that will be talking about back safety. Dr. Greg Wright is a sports medicine and chiropractor, and he'll be talking about how to keep your back safe as we hopefully head into spring and start to get a little bit more towards some exercise, perhaps, even if it's walking. And we have a couple of agencies such as Visiting Angels that will be there, Home Instead that will be there, and our friends from Broadreach and Beata will be there. They'll be talking about some specific things to their programs that they've got. And Royal at Home will be there as well. And our friends from Cape Organization for the Rights of the Disabled, CORD, I always forget what the acronym stands for. June Barrett will be there. They're the fun table. They have all, if you've been to us before, they have all the fun gadgets. So for example, if you are hearing impaired and you're worried about fire, they've got, with the emergency system that makes that loud, horrible noise, if you're deaf, you obviously can't hear that. So they have something that both has a bright red blinking light, and you'd say, okay, well, I'm sound asleep. I'm not going to be woken up by a bright red light, is what I said. And she said, no, but there's also a vibration that goes off in the bed under the mattress.
Oh, I see.
So
wow.
It will wake you up for sure and help you to get out. So they have some really neat, I always call them inventions, but they're adaptive equipment gadgets that are always fun to see what the latest things are. The Harwich Fire Department is going to be there, and we will have files of life to get updated. A lot of people have them, thankfully, on their fridge, but they're chicken scratched handwriting and cross-outs and need to be updated. So if you want to get a new card or you need the whole thing, we will have them there. And the fire department will have their computer with them. So if you've had any updates and you haven't been, thankfully, taken out by rescue in a long while, or maybe never, they will have in their computer, for example, Barbara Ann Foley, my address, and then any information they know about me that's there that they can read back to you. And if there's an update or a new diagnosis or a new medication or a de-seed medication that you're no longer using, they can make all those changes. And some would ask, well, why do you want to do that at the safety fair? Well, for your safety, when they come to your home, every minute counts. So, for example, if you're a heart patient and you're having a heart issue, you don't want to be sitting with somebody in the house or perhaps even the patient and be saying, so are you still on Coumadin? Are you still taking this? Do you still have that? They're just going to put the whole thing on your chest and bolt. So if they have the updated information, it's a lot better and more advantageous to them and to the patient. So I would urge you to come. We want to fill the room as much as possible. On the perimeter of the room, so that you know, in addition to those round tables with each person moving and the seniors all staying put, the perimeter of the square will have tables with each of those vendors' stuff on them as well. So for example, Cord will have their gadgets on the table, not picking up and bringing from one table to the next.
Now, where is this going to be?
In a multi-purpose
room?
Yep.
Not in the gym?
No, not quite that big.
Now, how many people do you think, do you really need to fill? How many, well, you got 12 or 14 tables?
I think we've got, I'd like to have 50 to 75 attendees.
You think
And
that'll be enough?
I don't know what we have right now even, but the more the merrier. If we could fill that room, it would be great, because you can fit about 6 to 7 comfortably at each table in the middle of the room. So we will put out as many tables as we get attendees. My fear is I don't want more speakers than attendees. That's what I don't want. So I'm hoping that those of you listening will not only join us, but bring your friends and learn something and take that education back, not only to your own home, but maybe to other friends' homes as well. The other thing I wanted to highlight is we have made available Wednesday mornings for our Veterans Coffee Hour. There's been a little confusion on who is allowed to attend that. And I don't even like the word allowed, because we're not checking any IDs at the door. It's coffee, tea, and usually a little something sweet at 9:30 on Wednesday mornings, usually in room 5, which is right down the hall from the Veterans Office. And the reason we set it up is because we've had a number of our local vets that will sit in a lobby or somewhere else, and they're kind of kibitzing with each other, and they've gotten coffee, or they've brought it in and are sitting, and we wanted to create a time frame for them that they could actually say, let's meet at the community center on Wednesday mornings and be able to chit-chat or reminisce or get to know someone new. Well, 2 of the questions I've had are women allowed? And the answer is, of course. Anyone that was in the armed services is allowed. The second question I get is, not only is it just for men, the answer is no, it's for anybody, but did you have to see action or be in any conflict? And the answer to that is no. My own dad was in World War II, but he was stateside. He was a Naval Corps air pilot and instructor, and then a Marine Corps air pilot and then instructor. And he never saw action, and if he were alive, I would be having him come. So it doesn't matter if you've seen any conflict. If you have given your time and talent to our country, then you deserve to come and at least have a cup of coffee. The way that it works is it's really kind of a drop-in. It's not any formal speakers or anything. If that's something that folks would like down the road, we can work on doing something like that. But we really wanted, right now anyway, to keep it informal and try and build having more people come. It's not trying to take away from any of the Dunkin' Donuts or any of the, I don't even know if Dino's is there anymore, but the haunts that a lot of people go to gather with their friends. It's not to replace anything like that, it's just in addition. So a free cup of coffee and something sweet on Wednesday mornings at 9:30 for men and women and anybody who's been in any branch of the armed services. And that can also mean students that are back from the Iraq and Afghanistan conflicts, or students that are home on break who are in armed services that are stateside. So any age, any race, any gender, doesn't matter.
Just make sure you're a veteran, that's all.
Right. The other thing that I wanted to tell people about is we are working on getting a date for you. It's going to be end of April, and it's a 10-week class that will go until June, once a week. We will be meeting, and we're looking right now at potentially Mondays because it seems to be less conflict in the building, but that's tentative right now. And it's called Aging Mastery Program. We, Harwich Council on Aging, received one of 18 grants in the entire state of Massachusetts to put on this program. And You may be saying to yourself, my goodness, what in God's name are we going to do for 10 weeks? Well, believe me, with the agenda, it will go by like that. The great thing about this program, I'll give you a couple of bullets, is it's got some incentives. It has points that you earn for doing specific things, and when you get a certain number of points, you get these little prizes. And so the theme or the thrust of the program is to try and have people take ownership and independence of their aging process. And nobody likes to look at themselves, I'm 53, as aging, myself included. But if you take the bull by the horns, as they say, you can learn a great deal from this program, things that I didn't even know. And some of the topics, you know, we obviously are going to talk about the importance of exercise and we will be doing some different kinds of exercise. I use some sticks and some foam balls. We may even get to using our marbles, and I don't mean your brain. There's an exercise program that you pick up marbles with your toes. It's a flexion exercise, and put them from one bucket to another bucket. And trust me, it's not simple to do. And if you have any kind of arthritis, it exercises those muscles that you use every day when you're walking, and the whole bottom of the foot as well. So we will be doing some exercise. One of the biggest difficulties with people as we age, and again myself included, is sleep. And you can say, well, you know, I've had too much caffeine, or I've got too much on my mind, or, you know, fill in the blank. But there are some tells that help us to realize how we can better monitor our sleep and to learn some simple strategies to improve our sleep. And if I were not a working person, or I was a working person and could make the time available, I would take this course just for that alone, honestly.
You have trouble sleeping, do you?
I do. I don't get more than about 4.5 hours a night.
Oh,
and it doesn't matter how hard I try or if it's a weekend or not. It's
Do you get up in the middle of the night? Or?
I get up a couple times. I do get back to sleep, so that's not my problem. But I get up about 5, and I can't get any more sleep than that on most days. So it's difficult. And you know, who wants to go to bed at 8:30? It just doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
We also will be covering healthy eating and hydration. Now, we're not going to tell you that you have to throw away all your chocolate and all your, you know, salty snacks kind of thing, but we will be showing you some different kinds of healthy food that give you that same sort of fix, if you will, if you're a salt and chocolate person like I am, and give you some simple ways to get some more hydration in. We've had a lot of folks in the last, I would say, 2 to 3 months, Paul, this whole winter pretty much, who have left our building by rescue for dehydration.
Wow, that's a lot.
And it is. We've had more than our fair share. And you know, as we go into wintertime and you're all bundled up and you've got multiple layers on, you do sweat a little bit. So you're sweating out some of your hydration, and people are filling it with coffee and tea, which are dehydrators. A lot of people say, well, I had, you know, 2 cups of coffee this morning, but you didn't have 2 cups, 8 ounces of water to chase that. So anything liquid you had in your system, that caffeine and the dehydrating factors in coffee are zapping the water that you did have. So you couple that with somebody who eats early in the morning, for example, 6 o'clock or something like that, and then you come to, say, Charlie's exercise class, and you work your little buns off. By the time you're getting to 9:30, your body is not only hungry, it's not fueled, and you haven't had any water, and you're sweating like crazy. It's a recipe for problem. Yeah. It can be low blood sugar, it can be dehydration, and what happens from both of those? The number one thing that happens is falls. So we'll be talking a lot about how to prevent all of that in easy and simple ways. A lot of people will say, I'm so sick of water, and especially in the summertime, I'm so sick of water, I don't want to drink water. So then they'll go to the sweet drinks. You know, they'll have vitamin water or lemonade, and they think that they're doing themselves a great favor. Well, I guess lemonade's better than nothing, but you can have like a couple of, you know, 2 good slices of watermelon, and you've gotten yourself almost as much as a big, nice glass of water.
That's what I started to buy, you know, at the Star Market, and I don't know, maybe Stop and Shop too. They have this little, I don't know, what do you call it, 6 or 8 ounce cup of cut up watermelon.
Yep.
And I buy that, and I keep dipping into it.
It's a great snack. It's a great hydrator. It's nice and sweet, so it fills the chocolate void for some people. It's okay for diabetics. It's got a lot of really wonderful properties. And believe it or not, they actually now make a watermelon juice, which is basically just if you compressed watermelon, it makes a liquid. Or if you take a watermelon, you've got it in a container for a little while, you know all the liquid that comes out is the juice.
The juice,
which is also sweet tasting, and they talk about putting it in smoothies. So the healthy eating part is going to be a fun part because we'll be doing some smoothies and some other kinds of recipes that people will go home with, and will actually be able to try new things that they will hopefully enjoy. Financial fitness is another piece that a lot of people not think they know it all, but they think, oh, I don't make enough to talk about finances, you know, or I'm on a fixed income, I'm on Social Security and Medicare, you know, what do I need to know about financial fitness? Well, there are some pieces strategies for people to know that they should know to remain financially secure, and to learn a little bit about the economy, and to learn that a lot of people were planning on just Social Security because they thought they would live, you know, when they were in their 20s and 30s to maybe 80 or thereabouts, and they're now, say, 96. And so your Social Security isn't going up a tremendous amount. And so how do I live on this fixed income, and what are ways that I can look at my finances perhaps in a different way?
Well, I know one of the banks, a big bank in this area, sent a notice out that they're going to start to charge you $25 if your balance is under $10,000.
Oh my goodness.
And I know there's another big bank, 2 of them I think, that have already done it. So I think that may be something that's coming in a lot of things. And that's almost $300 a year.
Right, and to penalize people who don't have it to begin
don't
with.
have it to begin
that's
with.
Real fair.
You know, so I don't know how long they're going to stick to that, but you're going to have to make a choice as to whether you want to spend $300 to keep money in the bank, or you want to put it in another bank where you don't have to spend that much money. Yeah. And you know, I went to another bank just to get some idea of what it was, and their level is $5,000, really. And so I don't know where it's going to end. But somewhere along the way, the banks are going to be after you to keep more money in your account. Whether you can afford that or not is something that you're going to have to decide.
Yeah, that's a difficult. Well, and those are the kinds of things that people will be told about, the medication management, the same kind of thing as to what medications interact with each other, how to get medications covered. A lot of people don't know about Prescription Advantage and some of the state programs. That will dovetail with a Medicare piece that they're going to talk about. So if you are a early, say, 63 or 4-year-old and you'd like to take this course and you're going to be retiring, or perhaps just have retired and you want to know a little bit about Medicare, we will be having the regional director of our SHINE program, which is Serving Health Insurance Needs of the Elderly. And she will be here to be talking about Medicare updates and health insurance updates. Another thing that a lot of people can be uncomfortable with, especially in the age bracket that we work with, is going to a therapist. A lot of people, unless even grieving widow people, don't necessarily want to talk to a counselor. Years and years ago, you'd say talk to, you know, your parish priest or your rabbi or whatever your minister was. But even a lot of people have gotten away from that. And so then where do you turn? And not everybody can afford a therapist, although Medicare does cover a lot of that. But they feel like they're unburdening or, you know, telling not a secret necessarily, but something that they don't think someone can help them with. And so one of the things we talk about is healthy relationships and what happens when relationships change and how do people meet new friends in a safe way. Community centers are a great place to be able to do that. This is not a course where we say, okay, Paul, let's come and you're going to make all new friends, you know, but that might be a wonderful side effect, that you take this course and you learn a lot of things and then you meet 2 or 3 other people that are similar to you. So healthy relationships is another piece. And of course, my big important section is falls prevention. And there's an overview on how to prevent falls, and it also dovetails on medication management, because a lot of things like Ambien, for example, is a medication to help people sleep at night, and it's one of the #1 side effects from it is they take it just before bed and then they get up to go to the bathroom and they fall down a flight of stairs.
Oh, wow.
So it's a difficult, and I'm not slamming Ambien. It works well for a lot of people, but people really need to know what side effects of medications are and what can happen and prepare for those. So if you have a set of stairs that go to a basement across from your bathroom, put a little latch hook key on it so that if you do disorientedly pull on that wrong door, you won't go down a flight of stairs. You won't be able to open it because you won't see the hook and eye. So we will be talking a lot about how to prevent falls and, believe it or not, how to fall. So if you're going down, you know, the #1 thing that women have happen is they break a wrist because they go to brace themselves by putting both hands out, or they don't put their hands out fast enough and they break the eye sockets or the orbital sockets because they have glasses on and they smash into that eye socket and break that, or a cheekbone going down, you know, on the face. So we will talk about if there's any chance in heck as you're going down, you say, oh my gosh, I remember this from class, and you turn yourself a certain way so that hopefully you can fall on a more padded part of your body, let's say. And then the other thing that we briefly touch on is engaging back into your community. So it may be doing things like volunteering, or it may be being able to just be part of a discussion group, which will be starting up in the fall. So the course itself is 10 weeks. It's 1 day a week, and as I said, we'll be looking at the end of April. I will be going today to the community center's schedule to try and figure out what 10 weeks will work, because if we do Mondays, we do have a holiday on one of them, Patriots Day. So please stay tuned, and if you're interested and you can do April to June, and hopefully on Mondays, we would love to hear from you. The biggest problem I have right now is we need 30 people to run the course. And we have a couple that are interested right now. The other thing I want to tell you before we sign off is if you are interested in the course and you want to learn a little bit more, we do have a little booklet that you would be getting in the course, and you can feel free to stop by and pick one up and take it home, say for the weekend, and look at it and say, wow, this looks really great. This looks just like what I was thinking, and it's definitely something I want to take. Or it's not. So you've lost nothing other than some reading time. Again, it's the Aging Mastery Program. It is by the National Council on Aging as well as our Massachusetts Council on Aging. It's through a grant, so it doesn't cost you anything. You get some free points for doing some fun things, and there's some extra pieces of the course that you can, they're called just like college, they're called electives that you can take as within the course itself. I think so far in the almost 16 years that I've been here, this is my 16th year, I think it's probably the best course that we've had so far that we've been able to offer. So I would urge you to look more into it, and don't hesitate to give me a call.
Very good. Well, that's a good idea, Barbara Ann. 16 years is a long time.
It is. 1999.
That's the best thing that you've seen. I hope a lot of people will take your advice and come in and join the program. So we thank you once again for all the information you've given us.
Thank you, and thanks for tuning in.
We wish you good luck.
Thanks.